You're throwing me under the bus. You're getting thrown under the bus. Shout out True Geordie if you want your name.
I got it. We're back. Boom!
Give that little clap
we're
for the
actually
thing.
fully back.
There we go. And in the new space as well.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
been in the works for like
It's been really long, man.
last couple of months, really, getting this space sorted. Probably longer than that, to be fair.
Yeah.
Because we built this kind of particularly just for this case, really.
And George gets very particular about aesthetics and whatnot. His videographer background, isn't that right?
Yeah, that's right. I can't even disagree with that.
No, but it's good.
Hopefully it's worth it. I think we've got a bit of a vibe here.
It's
NFT Party with T now as well. Finally get to live up to the name.
That's true.
Which is pretty sweet. And we're switching up the content format as well.
Yeah.
If anyone's been paying attention, rather than videos just based off of one project, we're literally going to be talking about everything that's happening in the NFT space.
Yeah.
Kind of rounding up all the big news pieces that have been happening.
Yeah, just everything really. Just like kind of amalgamating everything into like one video around like things that are currently happening, things that have happened, maybe a little bit on things we're watching, but less on that kind of like these are the projects to go for. And because it's so fickle really, particularly with where the market's at right now. But yeah, we decided on just maybe like one large video a week for the time being that is just kind of involving everything, all our thoughts, and
where we can dip into
everything.
multiple subjects, and then
Exactly.
no doubt we'll be able to go into more depth as and when as appropriate, if it's a particular topic that people want to hear more about.
For sure. So make sure, just before we start and get into this one, like and subscribe please. That really helps. Hit the bell, all that sort of stuff. And yeah, hope you enjoy this episode.
Let's get into it. Cool.
So we're starting with like a roundup today of all the mad shit that's been happening since we last did anything, which is it's actually been crazy, really. There's been
it's been I feel like a tough time for a lot of people in the space right now, because you would effectively say it's in a bear market. There's been crashes all over the place, if you want to say that.
That's true.
So it's not. There's a lot of fear.
And a lot of opportunity as well. So there's kind of
that's it, man. When
cons.
other people are being fearful, you've got to be greedy.
That's it. Oh man!
And when people are being greedy, you've got to be fearful.
Greedy with it.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is the thing, though. This is the time where you buy up. This is buying opportunity, isn't it?
No, it is. Yeah, there's like I saw something the other day that was like I think it was in relation to the stock market, but like the buying cycle and what actually happens when things are. Or the market cycle and what happens at like people's emotions at different stages and how they're feeling. Like this is panic mode here, and this is where you're buying because they're actually
I feel like maybe like 2 or 3 days ago was like max panic.
Oh,
with the Luna thing.
That was huge.
That was like max panic.
Yeah, that was.
But we have got a bit of an order of things as how we want to go through it. So maybe we just start with the Bored Ape land sale, because that was huge news. And that was
it seems to have died down a bit now, the way kind of people aren't talking about it as much now than they were after it actually happened. But it was really disappointing from my point of view. It was really disappointing with, like, let's start off with the gas fees. So a lot of people pulled liquidity out of other projects that were otherwise quite decent, because they wanted to obviously have the money to be able to purchase land, because everyone knows it's Yuga Labs, it's Bored Apes, it's their Otherdeed for Otherside, which is obviously going to be their metaverse and whatnot. But yeah, not just the fact that occurred, it's the fact that the gas fees were ridiculous, and we're talking like 2 ETH gas fees. But for anyone who's new to this, or at the current moment, is about £3,000. I mean, back then though, ETH wasn't anywhere near as low as it is now.
Yeah,
so
it was expensive.
A lot.
But I mean, I saw people in the Discord. I was watching the Discord, the general chat in the Bored Ape, in the Bored Ape Discord.
Yeah.
And there was more people were having gas fees, way more than 2 ETH. But that's just
really.
Astronaut. I saw way more than that. And people were just they hadn't put aside that much money, so people had.
Oh yeah, because you was watching this live, weren't you? Because I was in London at the time. And
someone was boozing. Someone had outsourced his NFT buying to one of the other boys in our, I guess, like in our group. Someone else had got the spots, and so everyone had piled in the cash to one of our boys, and he was the one that was actually minting the land. He was out boozing in London. So I was following it.
I was literally waved, and I was like, you know, you get that feeling when you're drunk and you kind of like, oh yes, like you're on a high and you're like, the morning I'm going to wake up to own some land. I'm going to be flipping that land, or I'm keeping it, depending. Oh, and then I woke up and it was like, the gas fee was ridiculous. We couldn't get it.
But that's the thing. I mean, people had worked to make sure they got their spots for the mint. People were excited, but literally just got completely out.
It's a shame.
Priced out by the gas fee.
It's a shame, basically. And that gas fee took a lot of liquid from the market, albeit their kind of what's the word, like resurrection from that situation was, I'm pretty sure that they started refunding people gas fees because they realised it was a bit ridiculous. However, I read a thread on Twitter that was interesting, which was about, I can't remember who the app was, so but someone made a thread about it and basically said they were really disappointed in it because what they'd said, what Yuga Labs, Bored Ape had said, was that they're going to have to create their own blockchain for ApeCoin, because obviously for anyone watching, the mint of this was in their own currency, which is ApeCoin. So you had to buy up ApeCoin as well. So there was problems with that because the ApeCoin dumped as soon as this.
And the ethics around that as well, just it leaves a bad taste in the mouth. It was quite clearly going to pump before the mint, because everyone had to buy the ApeCoin to purchase the land. Quite clearly going to dump afterwards,
and that was the opportunity as well for people.
Obviously,
for people who hadn't KYC'd their wallets and had the opportunity to even go for it. It was, shall we buy ApeCoin and get in there and then sell it off at a higher price, which is absolutely fine. But the interesting thing in this thread that I didn't actually think about was that these people were like, I'm sick of a Bored Ape, and this was the highest level of like manipulation in the fact that they've basically said Ethereum's blockchain doesn't work or couldn't handle it, so we're going to create our own blockchain specific to ApeCoin, and they were kind of saying it's like their snide way of they did it. This was like the conspiracy theory. They did it on purpose just to give them a segue to creating their own blockchain for ApeCoin.
Do you know that, like, thinking that far around?
I don't know. I don't think so personally, but it was interesting to read. Like you hear some mad stuff and people have some mad theories, but it was interesting. But overall, we can agree it was a shambles.
Literally,
and kind of annoying, really, because I was gassed about it.
Yeah, it's a shame.
But yeah, carrying on like the theme of Bored Apes and moving on from the actual land, what's been going around social media at the moment has been their metaverse and like a real time video of their gameplay. Or
I thought the visuals, you know, I'm a visual guy, you know, I think about aesthetics a lot. I thought the aesthetic of it looked cool.
Yeah.
But I still don't know what I'm looking at. Realistically, it's like we've got an ape running around. It looks like it's a video game, obviously. But I just find my general opinion on the metaverse right now is I just don't see how it's like. It's going to be amazing in like 10 years time. But right now, there's not enough people. Like, I don't know a single person that's spending any time in VR or AR realistically, like on a daily basis.
Oh, it's a way off.
The metaverse is so far off. I don't see why that people are getting so hyped about like Bored Ape Metaverse and Metaverse this, Metaverse that. Why so many NFT projects are getting dropped with, you know, like they'll put in the description like these characters making their way through the metaverse. I just feel like it's not even relevant yet.
Do you know what it is though? Yeah, I think it's based on your interpretation of the metaverse. So it's like, what is the metaverse to you? Is it this VR based land where everyone is in VR, or are we almost already there in the fact that we're so involved in like in the digital world already, that we spend half our time in Web 2 on the internet and doing all these things and like gaming online, that we're like, it could be an early version of it. So I think like looking at it, like you're absolutely right. Like we're way off the point of people putting a headset on every night and just getting fully immersed. Yeah. But I think looking at it for what it was in terms of, I mean, it looked like Fortnite, really, bro.
What did you think of it? What did you make of that video clip?
I don't know, man. Like,
I don't feel anything different, particularly with that.
I think it looks like
a video game.
I think it looks like Fortnite, and I think it looks like a video game that kind of looked quite cool. But
literally
beyond that, like I didn't we've been looking at comments this week, like from things we've been putting out on our Instagram from a post we did about it, and clearly, like people who aren't particularly into NFTs or I guess kind of like the whole cryptocurrency, just metaverse space. They think it's a load of shit, basically.
Bullshit, yeah.
But I think it looks cool for what it is, and I think like it's the first real gameplay footage I've seen from anything. So it's hard to know, really. Like I'm kind of bullish on the whole space, so I kind of want these guys. I want it to be sick, and I want it to win.
Oh yeah, I want it to be sick. I just don't really see. Like it's so far off in the future. Realistically,
you're
people
right,
talking about it in the way they're talking about it, I sometimes feel is just a bit of a reach, really. A bit of bullshit, frankly. Where people may potentially maybe taking advantage of the situation to make money. I don't know. We'll see. I wasn't blown away by anything I saw. I didn't really understand what I was
It wasn't
seeing.
like, oh shit, they've just done something revolutionary. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think like that kind of thing doesn't serve for the kind of, what's the word, like kind of the shade being thrown on NFTs and people being like, oh, I remember someone wrote a comment to us or something about what was it? It was like, I'm a gamer or something, and us in the gaming worlds have not yet accepted NFTs, and we will not accept NFTs and make these a thing, so I hope it never becomes a thing. I was a bit like, well, okay, but like you look at people on Fortnite who pay for like digital assets and buy like different skins and things like that. And you're kind of more there than you think.
Yeah, maybe you got a point with that. Actually,
it's interesting.
Maybe that just needs to get switched over to blockchain, and then we're in the metaverse. That is a.
But it's like, but you're putting value into a digital asset. Like you're being like, and then you've got to ask your question, why? Like why would I want to spend however much 20 quid, however much it is, to put a new skin on my avatar in this game? Why is that? And that's kind of comes down to I guess Gary Vee talks about it a lot in terms of communication. It's like, I've got this skin, so this makes me look a certain way, and I'm communicating something to you because of that, which is just an interesting thought, man.
Same as it, like buying clothing in real life, isn't it, really?
Yeah, exactly, man. And but yeah, I mean, like overall, hopefully that does well, because a lot of things have not been doing well at the moment, and a lot of projects have been tanking and also not been doing great when it comes to the mints. And
there's not many projects right now that have released and are sitting above what they minted for. Yeah,
absolutely.
Pretty much. Like, go back to maybe January of this year, like 2022.
Oh, mate.
You were getting the whitelist spots, you were minting and then flipping them. If that was your game, if that was your strategy.
Yeah. Oh, mate, yeah.
You know, people could do that.
Within like minutes as well. And that's kind of one of my biggest fears at the moment for newer projects coming out. It's that there's been very few projects that have had the ability for that to happen, of the people who've been whitelisted and have been able to mint. That how is it going to work with when these new projects come out? People are just basically going to want to be selling them straight away, and they're tanking those projects because of that, because everyone's desperate to make money, because they haven't been for the last
maybe this is a phase that the whole space needs to go through in order to get to a more healthy spot where it is maybe a longer play rather than a quick flip.
It should be. I mean, you should be looking at it like who's behind this? Why would this have long-term value for me? But then at the end of the day, like, I'm not disparaging people who want to flip that either, because that is always going to be part of the game. I mean, we had a conversation about this off camera, and it's like, no one can tell me that the people investing in these things don't want to flip.
Financial gain.
Whether it's 5 years down the line, they're thinking, I mean, the people holding these massive projects, why are they doing it? 2 reasons. One, they're part of the community, which is actually probably sick. Like, they've kind of found solitude, not solitude, what's that word?
Acceptance, like.
Yeah, exactly, and mates and shit, and that's sick. But then the second reason is like, because, yeah, this project might be 15 ETH right now, but in 2 years, do they think it's going to be 100? Like, and that's their sale point. So it's not, no one should shit on anyone who flips anything either, and I think that's absolutely fine as well. But the perception of people who moan about it, they're like, oh, this project flopped straight away, without realizing they're the problem in terms of absolutely undercutting the floor the whole time and tanking the project. That needs to be figured out, and hopefully this will soon shed light that, yeah, if you work as a team or whatever, or as a community, it's based on you. It's based on you, yeah,
100%.
Which is crazy, but yeah, I mean, there's projects that we talked about prior to this being in this studio that just we thought were going to do well and had all the prospects to, and whether it's the Bored Ape, like taking the liquidity out of the market. I
mean, even Bored Ape, even Otherdeed I don't know if it is right now as we're filming this, but it was sitting below mint price.
Who?
The other side.
Yeah.
It was at one point.
What was mint price again? 2 ETH or something?
I can't remember off the top of my head. It was around that.
It was high.
It definitely tanked. It was high. But I mean, the incentive's there then just to wait and
Bored Ape in general. Bored Ape in general, like, went down to I think it was up at like 140, 150 or something, went down to like 190 or something. So like everything, even the blue chips are tanking. So but yeah, there's projects like we talked about before that just I was kind of shocked to watch it happen, like play out. Yeah. But
I want to talk about something token, bro.
Yeah.
Do you want to get into that right now? Or?
Yeah, go for it.
Because that's
you love this one as well.
This is one that I'm excited about because it's purely, I'm just getting my notes up here. It's purely it's a utility based project, and obviously all the projects we've just been talking about have basically been PFP projects. And that has been a bit of a gripe in the space, hasn't it? Really, the lack of utility for a lot of projects. It's once you've done the artwork,
like increasingly important, especially people on Twitter. Even the owner, one of the founders of Possessed, put out a tweet saying, what type of utility do you guys want to see? And it got a shit ton of comments and all this stuff. But people are obsessed with utility at the moment. So yeah, I think it's a massive. That kind of came out at the time when everyone's questioning utility as well. So, but utility is hugely important.
Yeah, well, bro, this is as you know, this is a project where this is purely based on utility.
Yeah.
So something token, if anyone doesn't know, is a project by a company called Americana, and this is super new. Americana supposedly are looking to bridge the gap between physical products, physical goods, and digital goods using NFTs,
which is sick. And that's kind of where the for the people watching that are just getting into them or are questioning or skeptical about NFTs, something we've talked about recently on the Instagram is the underlying technology behind NFTs and the applications to that, to where we are now, like in the real world and the real life applications, and how it applies to products, how it applies to supply chains, how it applies to businesses.
That's the stuff that's going to stay. That will be the 100%. Stuff that's like used.
That's what's exciting,
daily basis. So these guys have dropped, their Genesis project was something called Probably Nothing. I don't know this off the top of my head, but I know from right now that's at like 14 or 15 ETH, which is mental. It's a smaller supply. The something token drop that they've done recently was 10,000. The Probably Nothing tokens were, I don't want to put a number on it because I don't think, but it's significantly smaller. Yeah. But the point being is these aren't artwork based whatsoever. They're tiered by rarity. So you've got like commons, like legendaries, epics.
What, the something token is?
Yeah. So like one common is worth like 5 rares, whatever.
5 rares in what?
Just in their rarity. Each rarity tier gets you new perks. But basically, I'll just back up a little bit because Americana is going to be supposedly a marketplace for people to buy and sell physical goods using NFTs. Now, I don't fully know, and I don't think they've released all the information as to how they're going to do this. This is like unfolding right now, basically. But supposedly they're making chips that can be, I don't know, attached to the goods, inserted into the goods, but collectible stuff as well. So like art, paintings, they get a chip, and supposedly that chip kind of holds all the NFT data, and then it can be bought and sold as digital goods, but it's tied to a physical product. So
then you're like fully validating that
authenticity. Your
physical product.
It's authenticated straight away,
which is sick because see, this is the thing. It's like people saying, "Oh, how can that be worth this?" Or like, "How could a JPEG be worth this much?" And as someone commented recently, which is so true, is you can't screenshot or you can't copy the Mona Lisa, have a perfect fake of it, put it on your wall, and it's not going to sell for what the Mona or be worth what the Mona Lisa's worth. Whereas,
of course, needs to be authenticated.
Exactly.
So like, I don't know how far these guys are going to go with this and how far this is going to stretch or whatever. Like, the obvious thing that jumps out to me right now is if you can put a chip on a product, you could take it off.
I did think that.
So I'm assuming they've got an answer to that.
Hopefully the execution matches the idea.
Yeah, well, so what's exciting is supposedly OpenSea have contributed some of the finance to it. So they've raised, don't quote me on this figure, but it's something like $6 million or whatever. And
to Americana?
For Americana, yeah, to put this marketplace up and this technology up, and OpenSea, one of the financiers for it, one of the backers. So that bodes, I would have thought that's a good sign, you know?
Yeah, of course.
But on the topic of Something Token, these guys dropped Something Token as an NFT drop. So that was 10,000 tokens, and the holders of these tokens get, I believe it's like early access to the usernames on Americana. They get all these discounts and loads of perks and stuff, as you expect. But this is like, you know, an example of what you want to see. It's like straight utility. It's not artwork.
Yeah.
It's utility for a technology and a product that's to come. So
the Something Token is your access pass to Americana's marketplace, which is going to be the physical goods implanted with a chip.
I don't think you don't need a Something Token to be able to use a marketplace. This is just like a founder's token, like early access. You knew about the project early, you bought into it because you believed in it.
What is the perks on Americana for owning the Something Token?
I believe they're going to be they did answer these questions on an AMA. I believe it's going to be heavily discounted amongst other things. I haven't got any more detail than that right now. We'll have to find that one out and come back to it.
Yeah.
But either way, it's exciting.
It's exciting. It's something that needs to happen as well. And I think it's something that needs to happen for the kind of the people on the fence or outside looking in that have a pessimistic like viewpoint towards this space and this industry.
I mean, if they pull this off to the degree which you could imagine it going to, this is one of the kind of things that needs to happen for it to be adopted widespread by the mainstream.
Yeah, of course.
Really,
I mean, think about it. It's like part of like from an art perspective. Yeah, if you have a Banksy, let's just say Banksy, you've got a Banksy painting on your wall, and it's worth a few $1 million plus. And then and that's the official one. It's like, how can, like, say you come round to my house and I say that's the real Banksy. Well, it's the differentiation between me having a fake one that looks exactly like that one, you coming around my house and I'm like, that's the real Banksy, and it's like, prove it.
Boy photocopied it.
Prove it. And like fakes are getting so good now. Like there's fake artists like who can copy something to a T, like down to like the material and the grain, everything. Whereas like that chip in the back of it basically scans it and it's like, yeah, it's the transactional data is stored on the blockchain. You can see that you bought it at this time. You paid X amount for it, and it's yours, and you own it. So I think that side of things is mad exciting.
Yeah. Like, I hope these guys pull it off. Their founder's proper interesting. He's quite active on Twitter. A guy called Frey, but that's his handle at Frey. But they've been giving away like doodles and moonbirds on their Twitter. So as in all the holders of the tokens get like one entry into the draw. So that's kind of cool. But
on the topic of founders, there's been some major beef online at the moment.
You're talking about the Azuki founder?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not ideal, is it?
No,
I actually don't know I don't know what your opinion is on this. Actually,
I'm split really.
Do you think he's?
So let's break it down. So basically, what happened is Azuki was considered kind of a top 5, I guess, within the blue chip, probably a blue chip project, but definitely in the top 5 projects out there at the moment. Up there with like Bored Ape, well, up there in the realms of doodles, Bored Apes, and so on. And it recently came out that one of the founders, who goes by like Zagabond on Twitter, that he was part of 2 to 3 other projects. I think Crypto Zunks, Crypto. What is it? Crypto.
Bro, I don't even worry about the names. Irrelevant projects.
Tendies. Just projects.
Rug pulls.
That he that he rugged and just left, and that the communities are still there and they're still really pissed off about it. And supposedly he basically came out with this at the worst time, whilst the market is completely down. Everyone's kind of...
He came out with it, or he was pushed because he was going to get exposed.
That's it, exactly. Yeah. So someone had it on him. I can't remember who.
What, do you know they did?
Yeah, it said something. I mean, through Twitter, that's why I've gleamed. But so someone had it on him, so he came out with it. And then there was uproar. And Azuki tanked from like 30 ETH down to like, God, I think it went even below 10, and then came back up again because people spot opportunity.
What's that now?
Do you know what? I don't know off the top of my head. I think it's like 15. And that might be completely wrong. But he basically said, because there were there's a lot of people that were like, oh, we're not going to be part of Azuki anymore. It's a really sick community that has been cultivated through Azuki, and it shows how strong it is now with how it's kind of bouncing back and going forward. But he came out and basically said they were learning experiences. And I guess when you look at it, when you look at it in relation to like a business perspective, it's no different to a founder having like three different startups and then having a fourth one and banging.
Which I get, and I think that's fair.
But it's not where the space is at right now in terms of people's perception with things like that. And it's also, you can't... like, people are going to jail because they're promising things that they can't keep and they're running away with the money. Like, you can't...
So was he not doxed on Azuki?
No, I don't think he wasn't doxed. And then NFT Ethics, that Twitter account, like, without asking him, basically just doxed him. But supposedly they came out and said that he said he'll probably get doxed at some point anyway. So then this was quite controversial.
I just think that's shady anyway. I just think that's...
You shouldn't dox someone against their will.
No, I think it's mental that like a project that big as their founder's not doxed.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That is insane.
But see, this is the point though. So it came out, they'd said all this stuff about it. This big thread that I read it, and it was all about how it kind of looked like it was attacking him, but then underneath it basically said like he'd worked at Google, all these like sick companies, and was the kind of outcome, and the outcome from the comments that I was reading was that he was like a really credible guy, and they were like, wow, this has made me more bullish on the project than anything. And I don't think that was their aim at all. Whether they were just trying to be impartial and spreading news or not, probably, but yeah, I mean, he's
obviously had a hit with Azuki, so I feel like you would think now this is the one he runs with.
People have been saying they want him to step down and leave the project, and it has to be taken over by like a new founder or CEO. It's difficult, isn't it? Because you're looking at it through two different lenses. In a normal Web2 situation, founder, loads of failed startups, here's a new startup, that absolutely bangs. That makes complete sense to everyone. The problem is that he's left a lot of people who've parted with money and just left and had the money.
It's the cover up that always is the
you just need to be transparent. Just be like, look, I don't see any problem with. I'm navigating the space right now. I'm trying my hardest to provide value to everyone here, and my true aim is community.
I just think that's the mental thing about why you wouldn't dox yourself.
But you have to own it, and then also give back to those people. Like if something's flopped and you can't do it, like if it's literally gone to zero, well, you have to do everything you can to kind of either at least deliver on the promises that were made, or provide value to the community that are still there. So I think he shouldn't have just left them the way that, from what we hear, happened. However, there's got to be some leeway in the fact that it's still super early. He probably is trying to navigate the space, and he does, by all accounts, sound like quite a credible guy. So
yeah,
it's interesting. But this was part of.
Would you get an Azuki now?
Oh yeah, I would.
You would?
Yeah, I think so.
That doesn't affect your opinion on the project?
No, I don't think so. I just think it's way too big.
That would be my point. Like, it's got big now. It's got big to the point there's so many other people involved. Yeah. You would think, like, even if he decided he wanted to walk away, there's other people there that can continue.
Well, I was looking at some like Azuki followers like backing him when everyone else was fudding him on Twitter, and the community on the whole seemed like super strong. I know people sold off and it tanked.
But it's in their interest, isn't it?
But
they don't
when
want to see
it
it
tanked
go down.
to like 7 ETH max, like,
I think it's like, grim.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like, it's crazy.
That hurts, bro.
And like, even if he did like step aside, which I don't think he will, yeah, still bullish on it. It's great. Like, Suzuki, man, like, it's up there. It's cool.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Sick.
We'll see.
What do you want to talk about now? Coinbase NFT.
Yeah, I mean, I don't.
I feel like we're in danger of going like negative almost on. This is another thing that's just not lived up to expectations in a way.
Yeah,
I don't want to be too negative about it, because I do think overall it's going to be a really exciting thing. But I was actually listening to a podcast with Gary Vee, and I believe the CEO of Coinbase NFT.
Yeah,
and they were talking about how they released this product, this NFT marketplace, effectively.
Yeah. And
they were, as with most business things, you know, it's quite normal to put MVP, like minimum viable product, out.
Most valuable player.
I nearly said that then. I nearly said that. It's where my brain goes, but no, minimum viable product. With something like that, they want to get that out because they need to get it out and then iterate on it.
Well, it makes sense.
Obviously, that's what they've done here. But I mean, you were saying earlier, you found it quite underwhelming.
Yeah, I mean, like, I was just reading about it, and I think I can't remember who it was, but someone said there was a lot of things that they thought should have been there that weren't there, and I don't know. I haven't really heard too much about it since I heard about it. Do you know what I mean? I haven't really been overly intrigued by it.
I came away from the podcast, from Gary Vee's podcast, quite bullish on it, actually.
Did you?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't look too closely into it when it dropped, but they were talking about they want to be putting technology in place for creators, and they're really, really focused on ultimately allowing creators to create in the same way that, you know, Instagram and YouTube are there to just, the creators not having to worry about, like, the coding behind their videos. They've got an easy way to upload videos to YouTube, and it's out in the world to be viewed. So I think he was saying kind of in a similar vein, ultimately Coinbase NFT wants to be able to remove the friction and just make it easy for creators to create and get their products out on blockchain.
Well, that's sick. I mean,
which is why I came away with a bit more of a positive spin on it.
Yeah, perhaps. I mean, I hadn't heard that. So, I mean, essentially, every company that is pushing towards this and is seeing that and removing the friction, like you said, for creators, that's always going to be super important and so sick for it, because it's just going to mean more adoption, because it's going to be easier and less confusing and so on and so forth. So yeah, I mean, we'll see, I guess. But there's I can't remember when did this come out. I'm not sure, but this was weird. Robinhood, you know the app for like
the trading app.
Yeah. It's quite popular among like younger people, I think. Is it?
Yeah, it was like what everyone was on during COVID, mate. When
GameStop.
everyone became a trader.
I swear, like everyone's like, yeah.
Everyone became a trader during lockdown, bro. Did you not know that?
Everyone's trading.
Every 16-year-old.
I'm a trade. Supposedly they said they're coming out with their own like custodial wallet or something with, I think I read or heard somewhere like 0 gas fees and that. I do not understand that. Whether they were covering gas fees or I can't remember the exact details. But
Robinhood came out with,
understand how that's
like,
possible.
that would be on brand for them in the sense that Robinhood was, I believe, like one of the either the first or like one of the very early ones that did. They call it retail trading. So like you and me trading on Robinhood or whatever.
Yeah.
Or trading 2-on-2. That's retail trading as opposed to like the hedge funds doing their thing.
Yeah.
But Robinhood were like one of the first, I believe, to do with 0 fees. So like literally rewind a few years, and if you wanted to make a trade, there would be a big fee on it.
How are you going to?
So I'm assuming they want to continue with that brand in that vein.
But it's like what?
But I don't know how they would.
I think they said network fees or something. I can't remember, but I just don't understand. If they truly mean gas fees, then that would be kind of remarkable if they actually do cover that.
They'll probably just take a percentage or something of an NFT trade. They cover the gas fees. They'll make the money back somewhere. I mean, it's not like they're coming out with a new technology, so they'll be just making the money back somewhere else.
I guess that's true. And then I guess the question is, are people going to use that over already established things like MetaMask?
It's interesting.
I guess it. I mean, like if you said to me, yeah, I'm eliminating the fees. Yeah, I'd be using it.
Yeah, but I think they'll be, rather than like MetaMask, I would probably assume they would be more like OpenSea, but they'll brand themselves as having no fee. I don't know. They'll probably, I don't know. I think they'll be more like OpenSea or Coinbase NFT in the sense that they'll be like the buy and sell platform.
Yeah,
and they'll probably just cover their fee. I don't know. They'll
probably
just cover their fees.
It'll be interesting to see either way.
Yeah,
but who knows, bro? I mean. At least there's some, I guess, more interesting, positive news right now in the situation. I mean, one thing people are probably thinking is what is the game plan right now? People who want to flip or make money or are wondering, how do you navigate this current bear market? I guess...
Patience.
I mean,
patience. If doing nothing is a move, man.
That's very true.
And watching is a move.
That's not what I was going to say, but that is very true. That is a good play. Like for me, yeah,
bro. I mean, when was the last time you actually bought an NFT? I don't think you've actually bought one in the last 2 to 3 weeks.
No, I haven't.
Case in point.
No.
I bought something.
Bought ETH.
Yeah, buying ETH is probably a good play right now when it's dipped. But I think you've got to protect your capital. So no move is a move. Watch, be patient. Carry on with what you're going to say.
Well, no, I think it's just going back to the point that like you look at crypto right now as well, and the fact that Bitcoin, ETH is all down super low as well, compared to what it was only a few weeks ago. That if you're a move right now could be stack your ETH, wait for the market to pick back up the NFT and be looking at the projects that you really want to get into. And then as ETH goes back up, it's likely that the price of these projects might dip again because it's costing more at less ETH if it's comparable to like dollars or pounds.
This is not financial advice.
Depending on how people are thinking, but if you're stacking the ETH, then technically you're getting a double sale. So it's like I bought ETH at a much lower price, and now the floor price has gone down to this, so it's already been cheaper for me. So that is one play, but the other thing is just looking at project, like if you've got
research
a healthy amount of ETH,
research,
it's researching on those founders and getting into those projects that are already have had a good first run.
I mean, the beautiful thing is there's probably 5 or 6 projects that we've been talking about for ages. I've wanted to get some of that you're in, that I've wanted to get in for ages, and now it's been the time to do it because they've come down low.
That's it. And
shout out Bricktopians.
There's always winning plays when the market's down. Like there's always opportunity when the market's down. There's a lot of money to be made whilst everyone else is panicked. So it's interesting, man. But yeah, I mean, like you said, be patient, like be tactical and strategic about what you want and why you want it, and just approach it like that, in my opinion.
All right, okay, time to talk about Ethereum name service, bro.
What about, you don't want to get into your music NFTs?
Well, we can talk about that, but I feel like...
Get into it then, bro. It makes me cruise, sisters.
Wait, what? Are we talking about name service or music NFTs?
No, name service, bro.
Yeah.
So start off with what this is.
I'm not telling that story, bro. You're telling that story.
I am telling that story. That is jokes.
Okay, quickly for anyone new, Ethereum name service is... I mean, I guess it's pretty much just like buying .coms back in the day.
Yeah, it's like domain buying almost, but if you believe in the Ethereum blockchain. So.
You can buy any name that's available, .eth, and I believe you can use that as your name on OpenSea, like your wallet name.
Yeah, you can. So basically your whole wallet. So like kind of the perks to having it. Firstly, it's a bit of a flex on Twitter, so you put it on as your Twitter name, username, .eth, but the practical implications of actually having it is that, for those who don't know, when you've got a wallet, it's like a string of numbers and letters, and it can be super confusing. So if you get one of those wrong and you were sending, say if I was sending ETH to George, and I got one wrong, it could end up sending to some random ETH address and he wouldn't get the
so rather than having these long ass confusing wallet addresses, you could have like
George.eth.
Yeah, George.eth. I don't have that. I got GeorgeOliver.eth.
But then you think about it, so like, why is this even a thing? You think about it in terms of brands and why would they want that? Well, it's because if you believe in the technology and crypto and how it's going to move forward, well, just like everyone wants their brand name as a .com or whatever, they're going to want it as a .eth.
So there's basically what we're saying is there's a mad opportunity right now to be like savage in brands.
Yeah.
Buy up brands, buy up place names, buy up, anything that you think is going to be important in the future.
This makes me crease, man.
Yeah, well, I'm not.
I am going to tell it. I'm going to tell it. It's coming.
So, but anyway, me and Jack. I'll start this off if you want. I'll help you out here. Me and Jack went through a good day or two of just like hype.
Getting too excited as well. Buying excited.
Up, like company names.
I think I rang you like 3 times and you rang me.
Yeah, I was like, bro, that's cool, but like, well done. Okay, you did phone me so many times, but about like things you bought. But I mean, it's cool. Like,
bro, it's not as bad as
you buy. Yeah, like town names, city names.
You just got to have a strategy on it. Basically, it's like I mean, there's a kind of it depends what you think about this, but there is a shitty strategy, I guess, to some degree, where you could go ahead now and all the players in Web 2 that are big that aren't capitalizing on this, you could go up and buy their .eth name in the hope that you could sell it to them. Kind of like a .com, like if you owned insurance.com, you would have got millions. You could sell that domain
for quite a lot of money, yeah.
A shit
to an insurance company. But it's also probably good to mention as well, you can sell these Ethereum names on OpenSea like a normal NFT. So it's actually so easy for someone to buy it off in your wallet, So if you can find, company names and like names that you think are going to be in demand later down the line.
And commodities. So water, things like that. So here's an interesting story. Budweiser bought the ENS name beer.eth, and then they came out with something that said like bud.eth on one of their cans, and they bought it for like the equivalent of 100k. So it kind of shows, can you think, and a lot of, I'm not going to lie, that there's a lot gone. There's there's a lot of things that you could think of. I'm going to go and grab.
Like every single one of the Pokemon.
Oh,
like
mate.
all the gens, all the Pokemon.
You've been down that rabbit hole.
I did have a little look. Oh, bro, you can see why people would want it.
100%.
You can see what, like, there's weird little kind of like fetishes that people were getting on, like,
it's weird,
collective, like people wanted all the names with like OX and then the names and stuff. Like everyone was buying
digits,
them up and stuff.
Digits were a big thing.
Really bizarre, but
well, it kind of, so there was this massive trend of people buying like 4-digit numbers, and this was because it's relatable to, say, for example, if you had a Bored Ape and you had 1257, that number, and then you had minted 1257.eth. Well, then it's basically verifying that you own that one.
People were doing like Punk 1, 2, 3,
and they were
4,
selling, bro,
5, 6.
for like an ETH.
Yeah,
like and
there's
mad
so
stuff.
the bottom line is there's actually opportunity here if you can be clever about the ones you buy up.
Yeah,
you
and think
quite a lot down the line.
Think about the technology and the applications of that physically and where you think that could go in terms of the .eth name. That's another strategy.
Yeah,
so smart contracts could be used for companies like insurance. Funnily enough, insurance being some of the biggest sales that ever happened on a .com domain. So kind of, if you're thinking in those realms, then, I mean, this is a long-term play. This is when mass adoption has occurred and the technology is integrated into companies that are operating day-to-day at scale. But that is where people would be like, you've got insurance.eth, that I need that, or you've got, I don't know, water.eth or
canned water.
Yeah, so I did buy canned water.eth.
Yeah, you're happy about that one, didn't you?
Well, it's a trend, bro. Like I just think if Budweiser are buying beer.eth, well then if canned water is becoming increasingly a thing, particularly with sustainability, that any brand that actually really wants to be the advocate for that could look at that and be like, I want to be the one that owns canned water. I don't know.
I mean,
but let's talk about your play, bro. This is the best play, and this is the biggest
bro,
play.
as far as I'm concerned, I was basically going through
No, you don't even get to speak right now.
Sake, bro.
George got so excited, really excited. Anyway, so I go to bed, and I wake up in the morning with a text that from the night before. This must have been late. I think it was like you'd message me like 1 in the morning or something. Anyway, I wake up to my phone. It's like, oh, bro, I've just bought all these ENS names. And then he goes, and I've just bought Crypto Steve. And that isn't even the funniest part. No, the fact that you got gassed over that is funny. But then the second thing, the most funny thing. So I was like, oh, that's jokes, bro. Nice one. And then I look at it, and he spells crypto wrong. It's Crypto Steve.
Crypo Steve.
Oh, it's so jokes.
I've got no combat to that.
I love it.
Me and my
so funny.
bro, just so as you know, I've hidden that from my wallet. I've hidden it.
Have you actually?
Yeah. I don't want that appearing in my wallet. I tried selling it. I put it. Do you know what's funny is I bought that and I listed it straight away. I was like, yeah, Crypto Steven, that's fire.
Crypto Steven.
It's Crypto Steven. Yeah, Crypto Steven, bro. And I was like, that's fire. Some like crypto don is gonna want to buy that. It's called Steven. And I put it straight on for like an ETH.
Where did
and
that
I was like,
come
why
from?
is nobody buying this?
But where's that come from?
I was just trying loads of names, bro.
My days.
My mic's clipping so hard right now. I'm gonna move this away. I was just buying up loads of names. Like I was trying everything. I was like, I don't know.
Bro, you got me sweating. It's
Crypto
so
Jack,
jokes.
Crypto Alex. I don't
Crypto
know.
Jack, you snake.
I would have sold it to you, bro. Give me an even. You could have had it. But I listed it straight away for like an ETH, and obviously no one bought it. So
that's mate, your play.
I dropped it down to like
straight to an
0.05
as if it was flying. It was gonna fly.
Yeah, not my finest moment, but anyway, I've hidden that from my wallet. So
that is jokes.
So don't worry about that.
We did get super obsessed about them for like probably just two.
You're lucky. I just can't remember some of yours now. Whatever you got.
Bro. Oh mate, what
you were adamant that some of them were gonna be amazing.
I got like insure your pet dive. Got pretty gassed about that.
Yeah, that's respectable.
But no, I got some dead one though. Oh, what was? Oh, I can't remember. I bought like
Do you want to
40.
talk about the fact you snaked True Geordie? You're throwing me under the bus. You're getting thrown under the bus. Shout out True Geordie if you want your name. This is the man.
I got it.
This
for
is
you,
the
bro.
man. Come for him. Come for him. I'll make sure he doesn't list it for an E.
I'll give it you, mate. Don't worry. For a fee.
But I mean, listen, he got that, and we had a full on discussion. I was like, bro, is that ethical? I was like, bro,
this is the thing, isn't it? It's it's difficult.
How are you gonna feel about that when True Geordie actually wants to buy his thing
I'd give
from
it
you?
to him, mate. I actually would, because I just feel like,
Would you
yeah.
be safe for True Geordie? Yeah, shout out, man.
Well, no, I just think like, realistically, probably like it's kind of just fun. Do you know what I mean? I got hyped.
Yeah.
Like it was a jokes 2 days. I think the insurance ones, oh shit, man, I would be holding on to them and like selling them if I could.
Yeah.
Because I was looking at domains and seeing how much they were actually going for if they were for sale. So I was looking at like the minimum bids on GoDaddy, and it was like, I think, what was it? Was it insureyourpet.eth, which I minted for like, I mean the equivalent of like $20-$30.
Which
and
could,
it was going,
it could pay off masses, man, in the future.
well, bro, the domain had a minimum bid at 72 grand. So like, what's that play? That's fine. Do you know what I mean? Like if that actually materialized, that would be sick. I mean, it's low risk really to a degree, depending on your situation. So
it's fun. Anyway, I do think that is something
funny.
to, if you're looking for a play, go and have a little look at it. Ethereum name service.
And if your name's Steven,
and
you're into crypto,
hit me up.
He's your boy.
I'm your boy. I'll sort you out. Moving on.
I love that. I love it, mate.
Moving on, like ASAP. Let's talk about music NFTs, because you know this is a section I'm going to get. I'm going to get a bit hyped about.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay. Well, it started with Spotify actually, because Spotify have been making moves. Spotify
Impressive moves, man. Like they made me quite. Oh, what was I saying to you earlier? I was like, they're like that's made me have more admiration for Spotify. Basically, the fact that they're moving on it so quickly and that it is so important. I think that this technology is integrated to music and starts benefiting artists.
Yeah, I mean, like they're not doing anything mental right now, but they are trying out. They're trying out selling NFTs on Spotify.
Yeah.
So there's been like fair few cases like of artists that have dropped NFTs, like kind of forward-thinking artists that have done that.
Yeah.
So Spotify are basically, as far as I know, trialing. They already let you sell merch on Spotify. Actually, there is some kind of clickable section where they kind of partner with Shopify.
Really?
And, yeah, there is, and you can buy merch on Spotify.
They're doing bits on that platform, you know. I think the way they're thinking about it is for the future. Like you've got to be kind of bullish on them, haven't you? Yeah,
I mean, I feel like they need to move because effectively, I mean, in the music industry, there's an entire conversation, an entire like argument around the fact that streaming services don't pay artists very much.
Yeah.
A lot of artists feel like they've been hard done by. I mean, we won't even get into that, but basically, we've spoken a lot about how NFTs are potentially a massive opportunity for artists if they are looking to figure out other ways to monetize their music. But ultimately, I would assume there will come a point where artists can release their music onto the blockchain, and all the kind of royalty collection that's such a grey area right now in the music industry, because it's impossible to track basically who's playing your, like if, I don't know, say for example, if your music's playing in a bar or a hairdresser's or something like that, it's like you are technically owed royalties by that business who's using your music and playing it as a public performance. You're owed money for that, but it's impossible to track. So venues and premises like that, they pay a license fee, very, very small amount, and that gets paid back to the artist. It's like literally negligible. But ultimately, at some point, though, I would assume there will come a time where artists will be able to release their music on the blockchain, and they will have ownership of everywhere that music goes.
100%.
All the royalties will be collected by default on the smart contract. So
they could sell albums through literally NFTs.
Of course. So where does that leave Spotify? Exactly. That's my point. So that makes sense as to why Spotify are making moves in this area.
Spotify currently, from what I've read, they're trialing it at the moment with popular, only in the US, with people like Steve Aoki, who's already a huge NFT advocate. The Wombats, I believe.
That's rogue from the Wombats. Like, respect.
Yeah, it's mad.
I would not have put that indie band from like up north. Yeah, fair enough.
They the last time I listened to that's probably more up your street, but the what they've kind of done is, if you scroll past the song section or above it, there's been their NFT. They're gonna kind of visualize or put their NFTs up top, like the artist's NFTs, where you can click them and then it pulls up a larger image of the NFT. There's a see more button that you can click, and then it takes you to OpenSea. Nice. So I'm assuming then if you went and purchased it on OpenSea, then Spotify is probably moving towards taking a royalty on the transaction of that.
That would make sense.
So then where's the question of it? Okay, Spotify is promoting the sale of artist NFTs. Big respect. However, they're just basically doing that because other than that, it's the artist NFT, and they're trying to take more of a percentage off the sale of it on another platform. If that is the thing, like, because it takes you to OpenSea right now, that's my thought process. But this is kind of like the trialing stage. If that happens and materializes like that, then is that more of a gain for Spotify and a move just purely for them, rather than a move that, on the whole, if they really did push that and were like, because right now they're taking no fees. There's no royalties. They haven't got anything.
What on the
NFT sales?
The trialing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's no.
It's just linked it.
It's just linked. If it stayed like that, then that's, in my opinion, fucking sick, because that's going to attract more and more people.
But my good instinct on seeing that was like, yeah, that's cool, fine, and it doesn't really mean all that much. It's not going to change the game, but I don't know whether I'm just like seeing the future or like being like a bit
let's talk.
I just think that Spotify see a vulnerability, because if some company comes out, I don't know, and allows artists to, I don't know, just puts the platform there where they can mint their music, that's a vulnerability for Spotify. Like, true. I haven't articulated this point fully because this is so, it's a future problem.
So it's like a logical move for them just to be ahead of the game. Just to be
in the space, at least, so they can get a bit of a sense of what's going on.
So then it's kind of like, are they doing it for the right reasons, or is it purely just for that?
I don't know, mate. We'll see.
But
it's something to watch.
Just for the audience,
go on.
Let's explain why you're so passionate about music NFTs. Like, basically, George is heavily into music, has his own band. If you want to shout them out.
Shout out January the band. There we go. Yeah, no, it's true.
Which is why it hits so at home for you.
Absolutely, because we've been looking at ways, I've been thinking in lots of ways, where I can put out NFTs or do an NFT project for my band, like how I can incorporate it. I don't think the space is necessarily ready. I don't think this is the right time for me to be doing that yet.
Yeah.
But it's something I'm looking at. I bought the first music NFT that I bought. I say bought, it was actually a free drop. I'll get into it in a sec. But
yeah.
I'd not got an NFT from a music artist yet. And I think realistically there's like Steve Aoki, there's Snoop Dogg, and generally like lo-fi music is kind of the genre
there's a lot
that's
of
kind
like
of associated with the space. But because it's so new, like I say, like my music is kind of it's like EDM pop kind of stuff. The nuance isn't there yet in the space to accept it. Now that doesn't mean I'm not going to try and do something new and fresh. Obviously, like that's
of course,
on my
but
brain.
Timing is
yeah. But I mean, I got my first music related NFT literally a couple of days ago. Chainsmokers.
Yeah. I remember.
And it's worked out a lot better than I thought it was going to do as well. Like it
was a free mint.
It was a free mint, 5,000 pieces. And harking back to our brief when we touched on it earlier, where like the general vibe for people not involved in NFTs is that NFTs are a scam. It's shady. Everything's there, just like it's all a scam. So Chainsmokers did this 5,000 piece NFT drop completely free. They were like, we're aware of the fact that is the perception of NFTs, so we're not making any profit off of this. free to mint. There's no gas fees because they dropped it through Royal.io.
That's it.
I hadn't heard of Royal.io before the Chainsmokers, but basically it's a platform that's purely working on music NFTs.
Yeah.
And this is the most exciting part about the Chainsmokers drop. They split 1% of the royalties from the album they've just dropped.
Mm-mm.
And they're sharing that 1% of the streaming royalties amongst the fans and the holders of that NFT.
That's sick.
That's fire,
that's
isn't it?
so
Exactly.
sick.
So Royal.io is a platform that's set up to do that, basically, to allow. Again,
and they ate the gas fee.
They took the hit on the gas fee because obviously they're trying to grow now and trying to grow their platform. So they took the hit on the gas fee and covered that for the people that wanted to mint.
That's cool.
So it's free to mint, free on the gas fees.
That's sick.
Every holder of these NFTs basically gets a cut of the streaming royalties, which is awesome.
And it was free, and I think you told me it's already 0.1 as well. So it was like for someone who didn't even care about any of that.
Yeah, well, I managed to get one, which is really cool. And it's all fans that are doing it. It's all fans that are buying that. So again, this is just a really good application of where NFT projects meets Web 2 and brand.
Yeah.
The brand is there before the NFT project. So the people that are buying that NFT or minting that NFT generally are people that are fans of the band. So not only obviously do you get the streaming cut, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Obviously you're going to get access to tickets, VIP stuff to do with the band. So you can imagine where that's going to go. Do you know what I mean? Like
this is where I think people are looking at it too, like just negatively and linearly. Like not linearly, like horizontally, like it. Yeah. They think it's so one-dimensional in some people's eyes. It's artwork and that's it. It's not. There's so much that can be done with it. There's so much integration that could happen with different industries that could be like revolutionary and incredible. Absolutely. And build these companies based off this technology. That's where I think people need to start getting wised up and learning, because artists.
Up and coming artists need to educate themselves on this space, because 100%. This is the kind of thing that, I mean, if you did an NFT drop, something like what the Chainsmokers have done, and you've got, like the start of a fan base, you're up and coming artist, maybe you are selling out shows already, and you've got a decent following, and you dropped a project like this can fund your career. Well,
that's it, mate. Because I was seeing the thing like. The record label.
Well, that's it. Need a label. It's like, and you get. I missed out an important point here as well. You can give back to your fans. So Chainsmokers, not only do they take no profit on it, not only do they split the royalties with their holders.
Yeah.
They've given the royalties from the secondary sales.
Yeah.
To the songwriters.
Yeah, that's fire.
Not themselves. Not including themselves.
That reminds me of. Remember? So I think this was a while ago now. I think it was on Full Send podcast, but it was Snoop Dogg, and I was explaining, it might have been to you, it might have been someone else, and it was when I was like really looking into music NFTs and thinking, how does this work? One thing that really made sense to me was Snoop Dogg said that he asked someone who was interviewing him, how much do you think it costs for me to like be featured on a song that you're producing? Or anything like that, and he was like, it's $250,000. And then he was like, now imagine that like he ripped up Doggy Style and like cut out 16 bar sequences or bars that he'd like wrote or did anything like that, and then you minted it, then you would own the rights to that music and that snippet or that 16 bars. And let's say you were an artist yourself, you wanted to feature Snoop Dogg on your song that you're creating, but you would never be able to afford him at $250K to be featured on it. Well, then you own the rights to that 16 bars. So then you can actually go out, create a song, and legally, because you own the rights to that music, put feat Snoop Dogg on it and have him included in it. And that for me was like, shit, it's that's wild. Sick.
It's in the same way that Bored Ape Club holders can use their brand. Ape on any shit. They've got the rights to the design of that ape
and build brand.
It's insane. It's
insane. Because that's good, because there was what's his name? I think Spotty, not Spotty. It was a crypto punk that basically someone's made like this full brand like made a brand about their NFT, which was a CryptoPunk, and has ended up becoming like a DJ because of it, and amassed like over 100k followers on Twitter through the brand of their CryptoPunk, which was sick. So, but yeah, music NFTs, I think there's so much to come.
They're developing right now.
So much to come.
Yeah, it was interesting to see an artist like Chainsmokers do it, because obviously they're heavy like pop mainstream artist. I mean, obviously Steve Aoki is quite a popular artist as well, so is Snoop Dogg. But I feel like Chainsmokers lean in a different ballpark, so it's interesting to see. I think they did that right. You know, I think that's an example of an artist or brand doing it right, bro, because it was so free, and it's a
caring move. You know,
it is giving back to their community. So they drop another one now, and they do want to charge for it.
Yeah,
they've clearly shown where their intentions lie.
Yeah.
So
and that's a huge point for founders and project owners. You've got to be focused on how you can give back all the time. Like it's what can you do for them, not what can they do for you. And that kind of makes sense. But yeah, I'm super excited about music NFTs, man, and where that's going to go. And I've got no doubts about the future of that and the implications of it with the blockchain and whatnot.
Fire. Cool.
But yeah, I mean, with other news then. So what else have we got here? We got Instagram have been trialing NFTs, similar like a small subsection of people. Gary V, Just Mako, I know different like huge creators that have an interest in the space have been able to trial it. I mean, there was nothing major there other than that, but it just kind of shows that all these like Twitter Blue's already a thing where you can have your NFT as a profile picture. So like these major social media companies that everyone uses is trying to adopt it and integrate it, that I feel like mass adoption and integration
is coming. It's coming.
Yeah. Obviously we had Luna crashing to zero. We won't fully go into that because I mean there's not much to show.
It's adding to the absolute fear and all that shit in the current climate.
It was crazy. But the one of the point I wanted to make was that Beeple, huge NFT artist, like massively admired, particularly within this whole space right now, is doing a collab, like a three NFT collab that's dropping on, I believe, Super Rare, which is, what was it titled? It's got 3 different titles: the Mother of Nature, Mother of Evolution, and the Mother of Technology.
And it's basically an NFT of a vagina.
Yeah, kind of.
Literally.
It's like these 3D rendered videos of her, like with her legs wide open, with like a tree growing out of her vagina, or butterflies.
Bush metaphor.
Bush metaphor.
What was that laugh? That was weird. I don't know where that came from.
You enjoyed that one?
Yeah.
But yeah,
Bush makes me a bit nervous, bro. Joke. That's getting cut.
That's jokes. Right, well, yeah, I mean...
Throwing you off your track there, bro.
Yeah, a little bit. But, nah, it's cool. It's going to bring more eyeballs. Madonna's got a huge audience, so more eyeballs is pretty sick. The artwork looks cool. It's like 3D video renders. They look quite mad, so go check it out if you want to. Another huge topic at the moment is Solana's blockchains, Solana, the cryptocurrency, and everyone on Twitter thinking it's going to be a Solana Summer. And then the
Solana Summer,
that
wants to be going on Twitter.
Yeah, mate, huge.
Hashtag Solana Summer.
Solana Summer. So
like, how I feel about that, mate.
Mate, this is the thing. There's like this big, sort of like rivalry between people.
Ethereum NFTs and the Solana NFTs. The main selling point about Solana being way lower gas fees, isn't it?
Yeah, cheaper. The currency itself is way cheaper to buy.
And they've had a bit of a moment recently with OK Bears. Is that right?
OK Bears exploded, man. It's been in the top. It's been the top 3 for the last week on OpenSea. There was a moment there where there was a lot of Solana NFTs in the top.
I mean, I know loads of projects have been doing really well, and I know loads of people that have been making good flips and stuff with Solana NFTs.
Huge, bro.
But
OK
I feel
Bears.
like OK Bears has kind of really pushed the brand or the awareness of Solana. recently. Anyway,
huge, bro. I think everyone's saying it's the Bored Ape of Solana's blockchain, which, to be honest, looks exactly right. I mean, it's sat around like today, I think like $11,000, 222 Sol, something like that.
right.
And I think it very much is, to be honest. I think that is a potential. I mean, if you could afford it, this is not financial advice, but it'd be something that I would be interested in, particularly if the floor price was to drop a little bit with the way the market is and the way Sol is so cheap right now. And if it goes back up, same situation. If it goes back up, the floor price goes down, so on. Yeah, Solana in general, I mean, look, we're still getting used to it. We've been mainly ETH, but I know that one of their main marketplaces is Magic Eden, rather than OpenSea, but it is still on OpenSea. But it's something to be keeping your eyes on at the moment, because if it is a Solana Summer, all you've got to do is basically create yourself a Phantom wallet, as opposed to a MetaMask, buy yourself the Sol, and then keep your eyes on. There's loads of projects. There's something called like Oak Paradise springs to mind. I think that was it, which looks super promising, to be honest. But the one thing that was really interesting was that a lot of the times there's been Solana knockoffs of Ethereum projects. And now what happened with OK Bears is something came out, it went full circle, and everyone's like, oh my God, like it's gone full circle. So now Ethereum's copying Solana, which is a big moment for Solana. And it was not OK Bears came out, which were basically a mirrored, so nothing changed. They basically just copied all of the NFTs from OK Bears and just flipped them so that they were mirrored differently. And this was pumping, bro, like pumping to like, I think I saw it at 0.3 and everyone was getting gassed. Like everyone was going, oh, I don't know. Everyone was just hyping up. It was getting hyped on Twitter. Everyone was like, "Fuck, how's this going on?" And then OpenSea pulled it.
Really?
Yeah, just
what, on like copyright grounds?
Well, yeah, it just got pulled because it was, mate, it's lazy, isn't it?
Yeah,
You're just flipping the thing, but and then there was something called Baby OK Bears that is still on there now, which is just like
same company,
just
from the same group.
Yeah, back on.
Are they doxed?
Mate, trust me, it's like but that's like any other derivative. There's like all sorts of crypto punks and Bored Ape derivatives, but the fact that there are these derivatives being made of OK Bears kind of points even further towards like, are these actually the Bored Ape of the Solana blockchain?
Yeah, Solana's like place in the mainstream.
So keep your eyes on Solana. I think it's interesting if you're not already. Some of you watching might already be full-time Solana heads. We're just getting into it, but it's Solana interesting to see. Baby. But Solana Summers.
Cocktails or what?
Cocktails, yeah, trust me.
Cocktails and Solana.
Sol, there is a beer called Sol, isn't there?
Yeah, there is.
That's jokes. Like, it looks like a Corona or something. But
right, do you want to talk about? Do you want to talk about projects that are coming up that we're watching? Keep an eye on.
Yeah, we may as well quick fire these out, to be honest, because I know this is getting super long. So, yeah, I'll just bang them out and then we'll go out for them. So the main ones that we've been looking at
Possessed
in this market right now. Possessed, as we've already done a video on. Meme Land by 9gag. Chimpers looks quite promising. Invisible Friends collaborating with Kif. That one looks sick. And it's really cool that there's that huge Web2 company collaborating with a Web3 brand. Mm-hmm. I think that's fire. Something called Flipper and something called Jukiverse. I mean, those two I don't know huge amounts on, but all of those seem interesting.
Like Island as well, yeah. Like Island's got its Gen 2.
That's true. I'm not sure the mint date on that, but I like Island.
Yeah, if you don't know about Like Island, I'd go give that one a little look, because that
have
one
a check.
Quite good.
I think
their first one was a very limited drop as well, so this is the first one, which is slightly wider collection. So it could be really interesting.
Meme Land, bro. That for me is Meme Land is by 9gag. 9gag already have this huge social media presence for being like memes. Built on memes, isn't it? They've got millions of followers on like Instagram. Yeah. But what was incredible for me when I looked into it is the team. The team is ridiculous. They have got one of the biggest teams behind this project that I've seen. I think maybe the biggest. They've got Gary V on it. They've got Kevin Rose from Moonbirds. I swear they've got Tim Ferriss. You know that guy? That
Don.
Was it 9 to 5? Like
4-hour work week.
4-hour work week. That's it. I swear I saw him. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he's behind it as well. And they've had investment from True Ventures, which were the same VC firm that invested in Moonbirds. I think they've raised $2.8 million in capital in this first round. It's just looking crazy, man. Like I feel like people are getting hyped about that. Way to get it. Interact on the Twitter.
That's got blue chip written all over, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, 100%.
Like it.
Well, you just with that team, bro. Like, how can that fly?
Yeah, but again, also strong brand.
Yeah,
really strong brand. But and they're very like, obviously they're Web 2, but I feel like.
They suit
their
it.
brand really suits.
Meme.
Yeah, that's it. They suit it. They suit it. Yeah. It's meme. Yeah.
It's like making like Pepe NFT. Do you know what I'm saying? The fact that
you know what we're saying about Pepe being an NFT.
Right, we're not getting into that. But yeah, basically, no, I'm not getting into it.
Check out the early videos if you want a bit on that.
Yeah. but yeah, memes. It kind of crosses over quite nicely. But either way, I just think. This looks like it could be huge. It's not financial advice, but if you do want to try and get involved, the Discord's locked right now, I'm certain, but you can go on the Twitter and they do a lot of raffles. I think their last one they did was a trait-based raffle where you would get tell them a trait that would be cool or something and tag some friends or all that sort of stuff.
Jack's first NFT was Pepe the Frog. Just for clarity.
It wasn't.
It didn't make him money.
Frog, wasn't it?
He lost money on that one.
Yeah, but I love it. It's mine. I own it. Yeah. It's my digital asset.
It's your JPEG and you love it.
Chimpers.
Yes. Yeah.
Moving on from that.
Yeah, moving on swiftly. It's hard. Chimpers looks amazing. You know more of the detail about the founders and the team, but they're quite hard to get involved with right now because the whitelist is scarce and there is a secondary way to get involved.
It's minting tomorrow, actually, I think. Which tomorrow, bearing in mind it's the 19th today, so whenever this comes out, it might even be later. They might have minted, but they're kind of following this pixelated trend that Moonbirds have set. You can get whitelisted. Well, you probably won't. There's not even any point in saying that, but you could have done by buying their previous collection called T-Back. It looks quite good. It looks like it could do well. Kif's collab with Invisible Friends.
Yeah, that's kind of fire.
That looks sick. I think just because there's been a lot of upset people within the Invisible Friends community with the 3D. Because
I was about to say that. I mean, that's on the way as well. So,
but the problem is to have from my understanding, to have the 3D version, you have to burn the OG version. So there's no way where they can coexist. It's really I think that's it. I get it because it basically, in my head, you wouldn't want to sell the OG one. So by holding the Invisible Friend for this long, for the people that want to make money in that community, they might have wanted to flip the 3D one. That would have been my personal move because I'd always want the original. So. Yeah, the hard thing is makes sense.
Really when brands like this are dropping a second drop or more in that ecosystem is how do you do that without diluting the value of the original collection for the OGs?
Hard.
Really. So yeah, I assume that's where their mind is right now. That sounds a bit rogue because I don't think people are really going to want to burn their.
I wouldn't be burning the original. Invisible. I mean, look what they're doing. The fact that they secured a collab with Kif is mad. One of the biggest streetwear brands in the world, I guess. But that collab looks sick. I think it's roughly around $1,000 to mint. And it's an all. I think it's an all Invisible OG holders mint, which is pretty exciting if you own one. So if you've got the ETH and. I think it's by the 20th as well, so you might have missed the boat by the time this video comes out, but have a look at it. It's going to look cool.
I want to shout out Bricktopians as well with the Brain Boot that's coming out.
Yeah.
When
is that coming out? Have they announced it still?
No, I don't think there's a date for it yet. But Bricktopians have got any of their holders basically they get entitled to whitelist and 30% discount on the Brain Boot drop. So Brain Boot, we've done a video on that. We did a video on that.
Do you know what? I'll shield Bricktopians
to them
for ages because that is what we were talking about earlier. It is It is the integration of digital and physical, and NFTs and physical by creating that, and I think that's exciting.
Yeah, so this project are dropping a sneaker. It's done by a guy called Law Degree who worked on Yeezys and a load of other fashion bits, and they're dropping this. It's sick. Go Google it. A sneaker called Brain Boot, and you can get the NFT and you can burn the NFT and get sent the physical shoe, which is pretty sweet. So
Flipper.
Yeah, shout out Bricktopians, because that's dropping soon.
Flipper, nowhere.
You're right, mate.
Flipper.
What's in your tea, bro?
It's all gone now.
Yes,
but yeah,
sweet, what else
Bricktopians
do you want to mention?
So Flipper, just to round up here now quickly. Flipper, it's basically a utility tool for flipping. It's going to get, like, by minting this tool, I don't know loads about it, but by minting it, you'll be able to, like, bulk buy NFTs. You'll be able to snipe things and analyze the data really quickly, maybe snipe rares, things like that. So it's basically to help people flip. So it's kind of in the name. It's kind of got a dolphin based logo. It looks okay. Check it out. It's amassed quite a big following, which is pretty sick. That, and Possessed. Possessed is coming out. I think there's still a lot of whitelist opportunities for them. I think everyone's looking at the market right now and trying to time things. I think I heard, is it Alex from Bricktopians saying, it is Alex, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Alex from Bricktopians saying that they just don't want to release. They're not in a rush with the shape of the market right now, and I think that's fair enough. So yeah, I think a lot of brands are doing that probably could have minted by now if market conditions had stayed the same since
for
a few weeks ago.
Yeah, for sure. So like as we said at the start, this is a really, really good time to watch, research, get involved in some of the communities in the space.
Yeah,
because the conditions aren't amazing right now, but
absolutely,
there's a lot of exciting projects to come. So it's not always going to stay like this. You know, so many people have said, like, NFTs are over, NFTs have crashed.
Oh man, it's just
like,
so ignorant.
Mad.
That's like saying Facebook and Tesla, all these Apple, all these companies that make up like the S&P 500 and whatnot are never coming back because the stock market's crashed. Like, it's just not happening. Like, it will come back. This is normal. Corrections happen,
and it's opportunity. So use time to research.
Just don't panic. Like, just chill out. Don't panic. Enjoy yourself. Like George said, take time to research, understand the technology. I mean, that's what we're trying to do anyway. And if you're watching this, maybe you are too. But yeah, man, I think that was a long episode, the longest. Chris in the studio in.
Yeah. Love if you stuck around for the whole thing. So there we go. Make sure you liked and make sure to like, and you are subscribed, because we'll be dropping these as regularly as possible. And big love. There we go.
Yeah, big love, man.
It's a wrap.
Boom.